I haven't done a RWBY character analysis video in a while. But that said, I decided to do a character that's gotten a bit of backstory, interestingly enough, recently. Like from a novel that came out. From a Scholastic novel that came out. I'm of course referring to Trivia Vanille, aka Neopolitan. Of course, this also has a bit of Roman Torchwick's backstory into it, where he started before going to Vale, how he and Trivia, cross paths, but I'm more focusing on Neo more than Roman. Why do I say this? Well, with the revelation of Neo's real name, Trivia, we now have a definitive reference point for her. She is based on the Roman goddess of witchcraft and sorcery, Trivia. A rather obscure goddess to pick for the character, I will admit. I'm going to admit. However, I believe there's a more commonplace backdoor reference Rooster Teeth missed out on making her reference to. In my opinion. And that's that Neo, or Trivia, depending on how you want to look at this, in my opinion, is a gender swap of the most iconic case of split personality disorder in all of literature. I view her as a gender swap, RWBY's take on a gender swap of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. However, unlike her counterpart, who constantly fought to keep Hyde in check, even going as far as to commit suicide, to ensure that no one knew that Jekyll and Hyde were one and the same, Neo's more of a what if Jekyll allowed Hyde to consume him. In this case, Trivia is Jekyll, Neo is Hyde. And Hyde won out and consumed Jekyll. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. Throw in the fact that this Jekylless, or Jacqueline, quote unquote, there was no good in her to begin. There was hardly any sense of good in her to begin with. So even if she does ally with Team Ruby and John in Volume 9 and Volume 10 by proxy, mostly get her vengeance against Cinder for what happened to Roman, Neo is not gonna turn a new leaf. Hyde has been in control of the vessel for too long. Simple as that. Once this is all over, she'd rather go back on the lam and return to a life of crime. And as for how Roman knew all the beats in the streets as a crime boss, he was raised into it. After his mother ditched him, he was taken in Mistral, he was taken under the wing of a character that made her debut in Volume 6, and we haven't seen her since then. Little Miss Malachite. He was part of the Spiders and actually worked his way up the ranks to becoming her right-hand man. But ultimately, he betrayed Little Miss. And also, he had a run-in with Junior's father, who's, of course, RWBY's take on Papa Bear from Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So, whatever happened to Mama Bear? Did she die at some point? Do I feel sorry for Neo? Kind of. With the backstory she was given. But honestly, Given the Jekyll Hyde case of her character, would she go as far as to commit suicide if she felt some level of remorse for what she did? Not really. Like I said, she's basically a what if. If Jekyll fully allowed Hyde to consume him. And if you've bothered to read through the book, or even read a plot synopsis of it, that kind of fits Neo's description perfectly. But beyond that, I don't have much else to say for this character. I mean, seriously, all I've got for her is what her character's main reference is, and what her backdoor reference is based on her backstory. A goddess of witchcraft and sorcery, mixed with a split personality special, where the dark half fully consumed the light half. Not that there was really much light in the light half to begin with. Believe me, I don't expect Neo to be redeemed by the time this series is over, whether that happens in 2025 or in 2026, given the fact we're going to have to wait till January or February of 2022 for Volume 9 to come out. Which means back end of winter and early end of spring is when Volume 9 is going to run instead of coming out on November the 6th, which I initially had counted down in my head. And they'll probably go through this again in 2023 with Volume 10, and then 2024 in Volume 11, and 2025 with Volume 12. So they would still make the 2025 quota deadline to get the show wrapped up, just not in the way they did with the first 8 volumes. And that depends on how smoothly the sale of Rooster Teeth to Discovery goes. Well, that's all I got for this for this back profile aisle analysis. Leave a comment, smash the like button, share the video, sub to the channel. Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye. Good night. Bang.